A lot of you have probably seen diagrams of this, lots of variations too. But I'm not sure how many really understand how important the fashion pyramid is to designing for your customer. So let's talk about it. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikkel Drew Pelham. I talk about digital fashion design software and communication for fashion entrepreneurs on this channel. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. We recently discussed this in class as it relates to the customer and the type of product you're designing. When we start this process in class, and as you decide who your customer is or will be for your fashion businesses you start, one of the things you'll need to know and understand is the market category you're designing for. It affects everything from what materials you use to what products you'll create to how you market your product and the language you use to describe your product. You can design something wonderful, but if you're using cheap materials and trying to market to a bridge customer, they're not going to buy it. And vice versa. You may design with lots of attention to small details, which will eventually drive up the cost of your product. But if you're marketing to a mass market customer who might be more cost conscious, while they may appreciate those small details, they may not be willing to pay for them. So before you even begin to design, it's important that you understand who your customer is and where your product falls on this pyramid. The first thing to note is that the closer to the bottom of the pyramid you get, the more accessible the product becomes. The closer to the top, the more exclusive it is. Exclusivity may seem appealing to you because it usually means you also have a bigger budget to work with, sometimes no budget, you just design what you want, and you're doing more custom clothing. But also note that the size of the market is directly correlated with the size of the pyramid. What that means is that wonderful exclusive couture market that many of us dream of designing for is also the smallest and has the least amount of people who can afford that level of exclusivity, while the less exclusive markets offer a much wider and broader audience that you can take advantage of. Something to think about. If you check out this video, I did an in-depth breakdown of couture, luxury, and ready-to-wear, why they exist, how they complement each other, and what to consider when choosing a fashion category for your business. Now keep in mind, in that video, I addressed ready-to-wear in a more general way, but ready-to-wear is really any of these categories under couture. Luxury is actually ready-to-wear, just very high-end. But let's take a closer look at the remaining categories. These are lower priced sub-brands or secondary lines of luxury houses. They're often sold in department stores and they make luxury labels accessible to a wider audience while maintaining a level of exclusivity. They provide an entry point into the luxury market. So for instance, if you can't afford that $2,800 Chloe bag, you can purchase one from C by Chloe for $550. This is also where luxury brands are most profitable and also attain more brand recognition. One thing that's not really spoken about with this and luxury brands are the element of heritage. These brands are able to demand the prices they do, not just because of the superior quality and craftsmanship. They've also spent quite a bit of money, often for many years, building their IP, their intellectual property. Many of them are considered heritage brands and leverage that to build equity, trust, and appeal today. It's the reason why Chloe's customer doesn't think twice about dropping $2,800 or more for one of their handbags. Depending on who you talk to, these are two separate categories, or they may feel bridge falls more in the diffusion premium category. But essentially, these are mid-tier brands that literally bridge the gap between luxury and mass market. Think Coach, Tory Burch, Kate Spade, Michael Kors, Telfar, Brandon Blackwood. In this category, your handbag is priced more like $300 to $350. Again, more affordable and accessible to a wider audience, which ultimately means not only are you getting the name in front of more people, but you'll most likely have a higher profit because of volume and initial production costs. This market category, contemporary, is where I and several of my colleagues who advise new fashion entrepreneurs suggest you aim to start your business. Your price points are high enough that you'll be able to build a quality product and still make a profit. And since your brand is new, you won't have the benefit of heritage. And so it might be a little harder to compete at the luxury level, sitting next to the Gucci's, the Burberry's, the Balmain, even C by Chloe. So contemporary is a slightly easier entry point into this luxury ready-to-wear space. This is where you'll find products that are affordable, trend conscious, more practical design, and what my design manager used to call more democratic, so that it's available to a much broader audience. These companies also tend to focus on high volume sales, so to compete in this category, you usually need quite a bit of money to not only be able to negotiate lower pricing, but also have the capital and the space to buy and house that amount of product. The other characteristic of product at this level is that the quality may vary from great to questionable. It might be good for the price, but it's also not going to last as long as something you'd buy from a luxury, Diffusion, or even a contemporary brand. This is where your H&M's, Gap, Old Navy, Banana, Uniqlo, even your Targets, Kohl's, and JCPenney's would fall. But what they're mostly focused on is high volume, efficiency, and affordability. This last category, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about. It's not a category that any independent fashion entrepreneur should even be thinking about unless you've got some really deep pockets. And even if you do, just say no. The quality here is definitely questionable. Their rapid production cycles mean they produce a lot of extra clothing that, frankly, none of us really need. And because the quality is so poor, most of it is worn out and then thrown away within months, sometimes weeks. These are your Shein's, your Temu's, Fashion Nova, Primark. The lure for people who shop these brands is usually the rock bottom prices and the cute trendy styles. But again, you're only going to have it for so long until you have to throw it away, add to a landfill, and then spend more money replacing whatever it was you just bought. I hope that breakdown helps you understand better the different market categories. And for my fashion entrepreneurs, I hope it helps you better identify where your product should fall. And then also help you understand who you're competing with, what your customer is used to buying so you can make better decisions about how you're going to craft your product, and gives you some insight on where your pricing should be. Thanks for watching today's video. If you're starting a fashion business, make sure you check out my playlist, How to Start a Clothing Brand. There are a lot of great videos in that playlist, including the 4 questions you should be asking yourself before you even start the business. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time.